Welcome back. This is the Hip Hop Seattle Podcast, episode 24. It's your boy Cal Nadi.
It's your boy Mr. High Def, Henry Hunter K.
We got a special guest today.
A really, really special guest.
Kayser, Studio Sage
Round
recording.
of applause, everybody.
Man, round of applause. So for the people, because we all know what you do and we're very versed in what you do, for the people watching that are tuning in for the first time, what do you do in the town?
We make records.
Make records.
Mix records.
Don't you also
complete dreams.
Don't you also make hits?
We make hits.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really the hit factory of Seattle.
Oh, you
up
say
here.
that, man.
Yeah.
And where are we at right now? We're at the famous, world
We
famous
are at Studio Sage recording. Beautiful Studio Sage recording.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely tap in with Studio
In
Sage.
the
Been here
peaceful
since
Edmonds.
about 2016. So
2016.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. So
Somebody local event. We got a Splash Fest coming up, right?
Splash Fest was actually today.
Today.
Today, yes. So
Shit.
Marshall Law Band, Marshall Hugh, man. I think he has a really. I think he put the event on.
The event, I believe so.
He put it on, or he has a heavy hand into it,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of artists on the bill. Scarlet Park, I believe. You had
My guy Tane.
Tanya was on there.
Yeah.
Jay
Shit.
Motorbird, you feel me? We got, Terrence Brown. We had a lot of people on that. Charlie Cash. There's a lot of people that were on that bill. So I didn't really. I wanted to go, but couldn't get a chance to get out there. But I heard a lot of good things, seen a lot of pictures and stuff like that. So that's an event here in the town.
Yeah.
Where's that at now?
That was at LTD, so Barn Grill. That's in Fremont.
Nice.
That's a really dope spot. So
Cool.
I know D Mikey and them, they're out there doing stuff at LTD. So LTD is actually hosting a lot of hip hop things now.
That's
I noticed
good.
that. I don't know if they always used to do that in the past, but I've seen a lot of events are being held there now. So that's really cool to see, especially
What's
in
up?
Fremont too, having options. Because Fremont's pretty cool, but sometimes it gets kind of, I wouldn't say boring, but something new and exciting is really great. Every once in a while. Cause
Nectar Lounge is in Fremont, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Nectar Lounge, High Dive. They're all out there. It's a good spot, but it's cool to have a spot like a little further down the road that
Right.
they got some shit popping there too. So.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. You ever go out to any of these things in town? Like just
Nah, I mean, man, we are.
locked in business.
We're locked in. Yeah. I mean, if we're not working, then we're trying to take a little bit of a break to just regain the sanity of quietness and everything too. So it's a lot of unfortunately we don't get to go out and see these events. It would be really cool because we work with hundreds of Seattle artists, and I'm sure we'd hear some stuff that we've all done around here,
Mhm.
and that'd be something to be proud of to see and everything. So
Seeing live
hopefully in the
action.
future we're gonna have some like Studio Sage kind of A&R type stuff going to all these events and everything. But yeah, right now we're too tapped in here to even leave.
That's the thing, man. What's the best way to get a hold of you to book sessions and shit?
Yeah, any way
Alright.
possible. Really, we answer DMs, emails, phone calls, anything. So we're really trying to be right on it. We know it's an industry of competition, and we know that there's other studios out there. So if we don't answer your phone call right away, you're probably gonna go to someone else. So we
Right.
try to stay right on everything.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Gotta be on your business.
Yeah, it's all about the business.
At what age did you find was engineering was it one of the first things that you kind of pursue with music, or did you fall in love with something?
No,
another
yeah, no.
aspect
So
of it?
I grew up in a tiny hick town in Montana,
Okay.
and there wasn't a whole lot of people doing what I ever wanted to do and stuff like that. So I think at 13, I downloaded Fruity Loops. Couldn't figure that out right away. Then I downloaded Audacity and was recording my voice and stuff like that. And then probably at 15, I got Ableton for the first time, and it was I messed around, made beats. I was actually making a lot of electronic music and was doing shows all around Montana and playing festivals and raves, and got to the point too where I was headlining with my big idols of mine and stuff like that, playing these shows. And so I think when I was about 18, I said, all right, I'm gonna stick with this. And then so I moved down to Florida, went to school for all this, and then it really was in school where I was kind of just I knew since I was 15 or 13, I wanted to do this as a job, but I also, having a family that's all done music, knew that money-wise and making a living off it isn't always easy. And so especially when I was trying to do music production and I wasn't even making beats, I wasn't making music I could go and sell. It was more so of I was trying to be such a good producer that I could kind of have my own clout and act as a sense, And so I realized kind of in school, I was there's not I don't think there's gonna be money in me doing this. So I really kind of switched gears and just started doing engineering. And I lived in a music school like hub basically. Everyone was a rapper, everyone was an artist. So it was every single day you could go and work with people and record or make beats. So it was a great environment.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Was there like any early artists you started making beats and stuff like that? So how did you get in? Do you make any hip hop beats? Of
Course, yeah, no. I would make hip hop beats. It was a lot of just like weird bassy music, like definitely have the 808 in there, but it wasn't necessarily like trap music, but it was more of like some groovy, like you're gonna make a weird face and drive to it,
Okay.
And I really started making beats probably my first time for artists for the name of a British artist called Danny Seth. And they were trash, so trash.
Oh, dang.
Go back and listen to them. And it's like embarrassing.
Did you tell them that it was trash at the time?
No. I told them they're the best beats ever. I was like
man,
18 years old and arrogant. Was like, these are for you. I made these specifically for you. And
wow.
Yeah, Danny never got back to me actually.
Okay.
The beats weren't that. Beats weren't slamming. But actually, no. I just remember, like, about 6 months ago, I actually mastered and mixed a track for Danny Seth, so it all kind of came full circle. Yeah, I was like, all right.
Interesting how that works.
Yeah, it was one of those cool things where, I was like, all right, finally,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I know you probably won't be able to divulge too much on this, but have there been any artists recently that you worked with that you felt really, like, damn, this session was really dope?
Yeah, no, I mean...
Especially you spent some time over at Robert Lang as well, too.
Yeah, so I do work at Robert Lang Studios as well. I do most of their hip hop stuff over there, that's a big legendary studio, and we've done some bigger stuff over there, some label stuff. But some local Seattle people I work with, though, there's some people that I'm just like, what, like how does this not? How are you not getting there? Just talked to Bass Kids about him. A1 Swervo. Gotta shout A1 Swervo out. If he's about to pop off.
That's what's up.
Man, one of the OGs I started working with, and he's really unheard of, is Woozy Off That.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he makes some grunge music, rap music. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
The boy Donnie Polo. You pay respects to Lil Pone, because we did all of Lil Pone's music back in the day, starting out. So
crazy,
he's
in LA now, right?
Yeah, that's the bro. He flew me out to Oklahoma once, and we just did like this whole entire tape in the Airbnb in the middle of nowhere. So but yeah, no, some people that are really kind of that I look at in Seattle that I'm like, you get into the right years, like you're taking off, like Swervo, my guy Donnie Polo. He's a Mount Lake Terrace kid out here.
Mount Lake Terrace, North End shit.
Yeah,
man.
some North End shit.
Mostly got competition?
They don't ever want to shout the North End, man. What's up with that, man?
I feel it. I feel it.
Got some rappers, bro. Straight up.
I feel it. We're a little north of Seattle. It's not like we're in the heart of downtown, but it's a good little escape. It's a great area we're in. It's a good spot. So
it's quiet.
Yeah, it's quiet.
It's peaceful.
It's quiet.
Yeah. What were your musical influences coming up when you were growing up?
Say early on,
Queen.
Queen, man. My grandparents were old hippies that lived on a mountaintop. We would just listen to Queen all the time.
Slapping that shit.
Yeah, they were listening to Queen, and then back when Eminem was coming out, I was a big Eminem fan.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, at one point I was a Will Smith fan.
Will Smith has some joints though.
Yo,
you can't discredit his.
This joint Loretta, I remember this song. Yeah, this song Loretta, and I that's all I remember. But it was hard. It was hard.
Bro,
I remember.
never cursing any of his shit, man.
But like that's early back, and just.
You fuck with the '90s rap, any of that stuff?
Were
you into any of that?
I mean, when in high school, I was like, I listened to like Bone Thugs and Harmony, and like obviously Biggie Smalls, big influence on everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'd freestyle, get drunk, and freestyle rap like Biggie Smalls all day.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just the greats, respect to the greats, as everyone would probably say.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't much of a deep digger for music and stuff until SoundCloud days hit, and then when SoundCloud days hit, it was kind of over. And it was crazy too, because I was living in Florida during all this shit, and was somehow connected to the members only group because my neighbors were all like tapped in with them, and my guy Dylan was Smoke Perps and ex-manager at some point and stuff like that. Wow. So it was like when all that was popping off, I was like kind of in the heart of all of it, and not even understanding that I was in the heart of all of it. So it was like it was some crazy stuff.
That's definitely a moment in hip hop history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it really is.
Crazy how this music stuff just comes together like that, man. Just from just doing it, you know what I mean?
And it's
like,
all full circle too.
it really is,
It's all
though.
full circle.
Because sometimes you gotta put some faith in yourself, like, when you meet somebody or you have an opportunity, especially when you're approaching somebody, and we kind of spoke on this on the last episode, but like you're approaching somebody, how to approach them, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you're able to plant that seed and stay in contact, or in some way stay in the circle of this person, I feel like eventually the time will come and you can work with that person, or better yet, get an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll just edit this part.
I feel that. Just cancel it. Yeah.
Is it perfect time to do a break?
We'll be right back.
Cool. Come right back. All right, cool.
And we're back.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like where the fuck was I at? Here, let's edit this part out too. What were we just talking about?
You talking about
Being all
approaching
in it,
people
bro.
being approaching you and just planting the seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have the patience to plant the seed, and just like he's saying, it can come back full circle, where one opportunity can turn into something else and blossom into something else, and that's the greatest thing about music, is like when you're in the in this stratosphere, you're gonna meet people of all different lanes of music: engineers, producers, rappers, singers,
DJs.
promoters, DJs,
Yeah.
everybody, just because everybody needs these people, graphic designers, all that, photographers, everybody that makes music and pursues this, we all have to work together in order to even make these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just to put the music out, boom, you need the engineer and the producer already.
Mm-hmm.
And in the single, you need the freaking graphic designer, if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah.
If you're taking a picture for your album, you need the there's so many people that you need, so you're gonna meet them all.
Yeah.
So
A lot of pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah. That was one thing that was like the coolest part of, I went to the Full Sail University down in Florida, the school for it's all sorts of arts and stuff now. And so my first day there was like we pretty much I met every single person I needed to know to have my personal own album done. Cuz I came there, was ready to go. I wanted to release music. And like day one I found graphic designers,
Boom.
I found a guy to shoot music videos. And so I was like right away you kind of realize that it's not like it's like movies, bro. It's not just movies, it's movies, music, art, dancing, choreography, like design, fashion. It's everything. And so you kind of start realizing that the more you're tapped in with everyone else, the more it's just going to benefit your entire team and everyone you're working with.
Mm-hmm.
Very
100%.
people like just now, like my guy was like, any graphic designers? It's like, yeah, So it's
like some of these people also, they're not always given the respects that they need, because you got to really think about the culture and the music and the things that we listen to and what we dance to and what we go into the clubs for, or just what we ride around to. These sounds are oftentimes being discovered by the engineer.
yeah.
They're figuring out, like, this is a very unique way to take your voice or something you did, or even if there's a part where, per se, like an artist didn't finish something and the engineer, a lot of engineers are like freaking doctors going in there. It's like, all right, well, there's a gap right here. We're going to do some delay. We're going to do all this. These people are crafting the records and creating the trends. Not, the artist, obviously, and the producer, yes, they're doing everybody's putting their their shit together, but without the audio engineering and the expertise and the knowledge behind that, sometimes you're limited to what you can do creatively.
Absolutely.
If the engineer themselves are not, you know what I mean? Everybody got to be on the same, you know what I mean?
Right, the same wave.
The same wave, and you're going to make great shit. But when you have an engineer, like, I feel like my whole, a lot of artists, you're with an engineer that knows a lot more about the science of music than you.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So they're able to articulate the shit that you say, for the most part, if you know what you're talking about and you're at least somewhat tapped in. If you're an artist, you should be somewhat tapped in with the fucking science of your music. Straight up.
Terminology, yeah.
You got to know some terminology. You don't got to know everything, but know some things. But anyways, he'll be able to take your ideas and, you know what I mean? So that shit's crazy to me. Straight up with producers. Somebody's saying, I like this or want this, or have you heard about this? Like, oh, yeah, for sure. And then we're going to add our own sauce into it, because obviously everybody has their own identity.
Yeah.
So, like, where do you feel like you found your identity with it? How long have you been engineering, and how long would you say you've been a pro at this, using Pro Tools and things like that?
See, that's a dangerous game to play right there. I'll never consider myself a pro or never be done learning, you know. So it's like, in that, I feel like is the best mentality for me to have is like, I'm never satisfied.
I guess what I would say is
Yeah.
where you got to the point where you're confident enough to have studio sessions where you say, I
Oh,
can
yeah,
take
yeah, I
on
see what you're
artists
saying. My
and
bad, yeah.
people won't feel, and I feel like I can do it without feeling pressured or fucked up or not knowing something.
Yeah, I think that was literally day one here at Studio Sage when I came here. I went to school for this. You know, I did so many sessions just in the apartment complex in Florida with the homies and Pro Tools that it was just like, as long as I can plug in that microphone and get your headphones working, like, I knew what I could do. And I was very blessed and very lucky to have Tim Sage just kind of be like, you know what,
Shout out
like,
to Tim Sage,
shout
man.
out Tim Sage. You know, he was kind of just like, you seem like you know what you're doing. Like, I guess I'll give you the opportunity. And it was from then on, it was, you know, I just like realized that, you know, you got to take shit seriously. And so,
Very true.
Yeah.
Damn, man. So can you speak on some of the early sessions? Do you have any sessions
Yeah.
where it was like, this is trash, and you know in your head, and you might, okay, trash is a strong word, but
Yeah.
this is hip hop, and that's the word we use, but you know what the fuck we talking about when we
Just
say
not sounding right.
trash. It's just not sounding right, or it's just not developed, or whatever it's gonna be. You know,
yeah, no, I feel that.
can you remember any of these early sessions? You don't have to name the artist, but I'm just saying as far as like it just didn't go very well, or not to your expectation.
Yeah, you know, and that's from the very jump. It's one of these things when you're working with art and people's like dreams and their music.
Very true.
You immediately talk about money, and that just gets into this weird game. So it was like, I had my first session with my guy Woozy Off That, which was here, and it went super good. Went super smooth, super flawless. And I think we had another session after that where there was like a few things that kind of like went wrong. I couldn't figure out exactly where to plug in headphones or something, and I had FaceTime Tim, and he helped me out. And it was really like, you know, I kind of took it that day and was just like, you know, it's kind of fucked up. You shouldn't and you can't really be charging people time for you to be learning. So I was like, right then I kind of had to take a step back and was like, I just got to like, before I book any more sessions, I need to learn this room. I need to figure all this out. And that was really when Studio Sage became like the baby sort of, and was just like, you know.
Yeah, that's a smart thing, but it's also sometimes it can be a hard realization, you know, but if you do that, you can actually grow from it. You know, I feel like like people that are really dedicated to things are able to do that for themselves. Like, hey, I need to step
away
back
and
for a second just before I get myself in this again.
Exactly.
And I don't like this feeling, so I don't want to repeat this.
The last thing I want to do is do something that would jeopardize your vision of your art, you know? So it's like learning was a big part of, and having the opportunity to be like, all right, I can make money off this, but like, let's get this place that we have here like up in tip-top shape so that when people are paying money for this, like, our preamps are great, our compressors are great, you know, everything that they're leaving with is great. And it, you know, I mean, I started here in 2017, and you know, we did a few sessions here and there. We were working with a lot of bands, but then we really kind of just took a step back and we're like, let's kind of redo a bunch of things and rebrand for the more of the hip hop people, because I saw something in this town that was just like kind of, you know, working at the bigger studios like Robert Lang, and then just hearing of other people were paying like $80 an hour for just getting their vocals recorded.
Talk about it.
Yeah, and it's just
crazy
like,
though.
It's crazy, and
are you paying for the atmosphere? Are you paying for the studio equipment? Are you paying for the for the engineers?
And for a while, it was like, you know, like I think when I started here, they were charging like $60 an hour, and I kind of quickly was just like, well, you know, like I understand that, but we're not recording a band. I'm not spending 2 hours setting up. You know, I want and I understand that this isn't an industry of like guarantees, and this is a gamble right away. You're paying money for a studio session, you're making a song, you're gambling right away. So it's like being able to, when we were able to kind of like open up to the hip hop community as a public, you know, it was like charge $40 an hour to just make sure that even if you're just trying and starting out and you want to figure out what you sound like you're not breaking your bank. And that's something we kind of are always trying to hold true to, is just like keep our rates at an affordable level for everyone, so that no matter what, you can come in here. And it's like, people, if you hit us up and you tell us, you know, like, here's what I'm dealing with, I'm struggling with this, and, you know, I don't have the funds for it, but here's what I have, you know, it's like, obviously we can't work for free. I mean, there's energy bills, rent, you know, everything.
Please understand that.
Yeah, like, please
Nobody
understand
works
that.
for free,
you
man.
know, we have college degrees, that shit costs money.
Man.
So, you know, we'll work with people. We want to benefit this hip hop community and everyone in it, and you know, we look forward to having gold plaques on that wall from more than just one people in this town, like one person in this town.
Yeah.
And it's gonna happen soon, and that's kind of what we're looking forward to.
I see that vision, that potential, and I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you mean, obviously, just like any artist. So are you studying still to this day and like looking up new techniques? Are you watching other audio engineers? Are there in your field? Are there like people that like you have on a list, just like a rapper would say, "Oh, the Jay-Z." Do you guys have like engineers that you look up to?
I mean,
in a sense? You name a couple off top that people.
I would say like so. Starting off, number one respect you ever paid to is Bruce Swedien, Michael Jackson's hip mix engineer.
Ooh.
Bruce was a wizard. He's a legend, and he's a funny guy too. So Bruce Swedien, you know, he created so many techniques for a lot of people. Switching gears to like hip hop stuff, you have to pay respect to like Alex Toomey.
Okay. Is he doing the? He's doing the.
He did
Rihanna?
like he did like Thug. You just did the Thug's
tripping,
album and everything.
man.
Yeah. Toomey's big. He's doing a lot of stuff. Seth Franks, who
that
passed
was
away.
okay.
Rest in peace, Seth.
Respect.
He used to do, you know, Future and everything too, and that was all Atlanta stuff.
Yeah, man.
And yeah. I mean, obviously, you have to study the greats. If you want to be a great, you got to study the greats, and you got to kind of pay attention and listen. Where we run into trouble is that, you know, being a studio where we try to cater everyone. You know, people come to us with $100 budget and expect the record label sound.
$1,000.
The $10,000 sound.
It's not gonna happen in
You
one
know,
session like that.
and so
Stuff takes
that's
time.
kind of where we struggle, and I'd say that's where I struggle with the most because, you know, it's like we're collaborating on a project. I don't want my name on something if it's like half finished, but it's like that's all you can afford. So it's like really kind of a big learning curve that I've been kind of taking on is like learning how to morph into like getting you a finished product that does sound good, that's obviously not to that top tier, but like, you know, we're getting to this point where we're getting pretty damn close of competing with like top tier mixes. So
That's awesome.
for cheap rates and for a little bit of time too.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's really dope, man.
Yeah.
Like that process, even getting to that point. Do you feel like it was hard getting artists to get in here at first?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
what was the grind like for that? You know what I mean?
yeah, no,
Like,
that's a great question. And I mean, to just be brutally honest, it was hell. It was a lot of like wanting to give up and like a lot of like, you know, going home to my girlfriend and being like, I'm just gonna apply to like Amazon or some shit job because I'm not making money doing this. And that was a lot of it. Like I started here, my whole journey has just been about like being in the right place at the right time, like everything. Like I moved here from Montana, like fresh out of school, and I was working in Montana. I thought I had a guaranteed job. So when I moved here and didn't have a job, so I like was quickly looking for places to work. Took a walk one day, showed up here at Studio Sage, and was just like, holy shit, you know, there's a recording studio a block away from my house. What are the chances of that?
wow, that's crazy.
And so right away I was like, you know, like I have to get in here, and I ran home, grabbed my resume, came here to Tim Sage, and literally that day his business partner got in a motorcycle accident. And he was like, oh, that's crazy, you know, my business partner got in a wreck, I need some help here. And so I was like, I'm your guy. Like and I told him too, and like you'll say to anyone, like this is a commitment thing. You cannot be 80%, you can't be 99%, you have to be 100%. I told him, I was like, I'm 100% in on this. And right around then we were doing some band stuff, and so like my first month, you know, we were busy, did some band stuff, and then like we got really lucky and did a project with like Apple and all those guys, and so had a good income for that. But then there was like 8 months where we didn't have a project, like 8 months, and there was cobwebs in this studio. And you look at the studio now where we do 5 sessions a day with ease, and you're like, wait, what, you know? And it was a lot of me kind of having to take a step back and be like, this is one of the like best opportunity studios. Like this is a great studio, and you know, it was just like they opened up without the best advertisement and the best, you know, attempt at doing it. And so it was kind of like learning for a whole year, you know, how to build the brand here and like, you know, establish relationships with people, because I was fresh to the city, you know, and no one else was building relationships here. So it was a lot of grind, like a lot of grind. So it
part of it, man.
makes me smile seeing anyone in here doing shit, you know, and having interns here, or, you know, whether it's Asher engineering stuff too. Shout out Ash Mandu, you know, he's the man. Asher really is the man. It makes me happy, and like giving people, or getting the chance to give people opportunities and seeing them thrive at it, like Asher. Oh man, that's great.
He loves it.
You know, yeah, and he loves it, and it makes me, makes me so happy.
That's dope, bro. And that whole grind, see, like, it's almost like all of us artists, like, everybody, no matter what you do, video, just like we mentioned before, the grind is very similar. You know what I mean? Everybody's kind of on, it's like parallel. You know what I mean? We're all going, I wouldn't say the same destination, but ultimately it's going to be
running a similar route.
Running a similar route. So we run into the same kind of, trials or tribulations. We run into the same obstacles, but we also have our ups and downs. But the ups are really great too. Once it's like you get over these hurdles, especially things that you said, I'm not going to give up on this, or maybe it was like, I've seen so many people fail at this that I don't even know if I have a chance. It's like thinking like, no, I can do it, and then actually accomplishing it. It's a different feeling. And I know you feel that, and I know you know what I'm talking about. Same with you, Cal. I feel like, you know what I mean, that feeling. So, yeah, it's just crazy, bro.
Yeah. Really, shout out Milo Eubank in the city too,
Eubank, man.
because like and we haven't even like we've met, passing. We've never like sat down, but like there were times where I was like, oh, I'm giving up on this, and then suddenly it was like, no, I'm looking at Milo, and this man's making money doing this. And I see he's eating, and I was just like,
Milo.
I couldn't give up, and if it wasn't for people like him, that I'm sure he went through the same shit I went through. He's just struggling until
Worked
finally
his way
you
all
just
the way up, man.
it's like you get a breakthrough. Every time I get a breakthrough, it gets better. It's like I did this shit with Blink-182. Boom, that was a breakthrough. Got a bunch of clients off of that. And we did this shit with Coily Ray, the Mops track. She dropped a music video too, like that. Small stuff like that.
Is she good?
Oh, Coily Ray is really good.
That's Trippie Redd's girl?
Yeah, that's Trippie Redd's girl.
She's good though. She's dope. She makes
yeah.
What's her style like?
Yeah, no, she's hip hop.
That's
like
Benzito's daughter.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, talking about like Megan Stallion, everyone earlier today. She's not that. She's her own style, and she is dope. And she's a great person too. Like.
Dope personality, yeah.
She gave me, she gave me hugs at the end of the session. Gave me her phone number, like chopped it up, and like.
It's dope.
Yeah, she's real dope.
When artists are willing to show you that they're human too,
yeah,
it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and when relatives or people that have no idea what this world is like always ask me, they're like, what's it like working with rappers? And I'm just like, it's the best thing ever. Like literally, like I've worked with so many bands where it's like they won't even look you in the eye, and they'll just walk out the door without saying goodbye or thank you.
Wow.
And it's like every single rapper or like hip hop artist I work with, it's dap me up or give me a hug at the end of the session, and thank you so much, or here's a tip or something. And it's just like, I feel like the respect for everyone as a whole in this industry, in this genre of industry, is really solid. It's a great appreciation.
I think most definitely that artists, especially artists that are professional about what they do, are completely aware of how pivotal your involvement is to the recipe. It's kind of like trying to cook something you don't got the like pots and pans.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, how you gonna do it?
Yeah.
Or even just not knowing how to cook it at all. It's like
you're just looking at the food.
You're just looking
and
at
ingredients.
The food. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's a pivotal role, bro. Yeah, man. Do you look at any, like, looking at the game right now, the songs that are out right now? Is there a particular sound that you're really digging stylistically that engineers are doing now? Like, if you can even, like, if just for example, just for layman's terms, for people just watching, like the way that Young Thug's voice sounds. He's using autotune. A lot of people are using it, but his sounds a certain way.
No, I say we're going in a great direction right now with quality of mixes and everything that's coming out again. I think probably 2012 to pretty much until about a year ago, dynamics and quality and everything, it kind of seemed to get a little trash and squashed, I should say. And
a lot rougher sounding.
Yeah, and
distortion and
shit. Distortion, and like especially when X was popping, and then everyone was just put a guitar effects on my vocals, and it's just like, damn, But right now, we're coming back to like, if you can make a mix super clean, like their vocals don't sound like they have a bunch of effects on it, but they do, that's where we're moving, and that's where I like, I like that.
I feel like early Drake was like that, but in retrospect, I can hear it now. But when he was back then, I was like, damn, he's fucking just singing. Like,
yeah,
a lot of artists are like that, But I feel like a lot of artists that, care about the engineering side of the music, like the Tory Lanez and all that.
Yeah,
they mix their vocals to make sure that it doesn't have that, out of key shit or whatever the fuck. It's very in tune. Like,
absolutely.
The higher level it goes, it's like they don't have like the attention to detail So I feel like everybody's chasing that.
Yeah.
Whether
of
you're
course.
an artist or an engineer, you're chasing that just like perfect sounding record. Whether it's, you know, by the book or just by like, man, I think I've got to the point where I've just paid attention to everything.
Yeah.
You know, and I like engineers that are into that too, because I'm a nerd about it too. I know you guys both are. I mean,
The science.
we're the
It's
science
all
of it,
interesting.
because I love to sonically, because you can tell. You know what I mean? When you hear, you know, the first mix, and for people that, you know, make music or anybody that knows like references, hearing like the fourth, fifth reference in comparison to the first time, it's a good feeling. It's cool.
Yeah.
So, and then knowing how, like, watching an engineer do it, very entertaining shit, man.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really cool. So
This has been the episode 24.
What?
Why? Aren't we finishing? Did we already do that?
you got 5
We
minutes.
did one. We only did one.
So we do
Yeah,
another,
do another
one
one
right
right here.
back?
Just do another one right here.
The episode's only 30 minutes long.
You're gonna have some cuts on this one.
Huh?
There's too many like these.
No, it's cool.
So this
We can
episode
edit
we'll
it
have
out.
we'll have to edit these kind of parts out.
So we're not wrapping up the show, but we're doing a
The other
commercial
ones
break.
stayed in the
Commercial break, and then we'll wrap up.
shit. Yeah,
show.
commercial
Oh.
break. Do like what American Idol does. Do a commercial
Yeah.
break, say
Oh,
the
okay.
final shit, and then end the shit. It's like, damn, why'd you go to
Then
commercial?
You just had to watch a commercial.
You had to watch
Yeah,
a
that sounds
commercial
like
for them to end
You
the
son
shit.
of a bitch.
Let's do it right now. We're about to do it to him.
Just gonna look at you guys both. We'll be right back.
What did you just say?
So I'm just
He's
gonna
gonna
look at you guys
glance
both.
at
And
us
then,
both.
yeah.
I
All right.
thought you said congratulations to you guys both. I was like, what?
That too. Proud of you
Maybe
guys.
it's both of that. Yeah. Mutual. Anyways, let's do it. Nadi can introduce the last joint. This is the Hip Hop
I'm
Seattle,
trying to think of something. I don't know.
episode 24.
A good last topic since it's the wrap up. I'm trying to think of a good engineering topic.
I gotta ask you if you did eat that chicken sandwich though. Not an actual topic.
Oh
Did
my
you eat
God.
the chicken sandwich yet? The Popeyes joint?
Bro, I don't leave this studio.
He doesn't eat, guys. We just talked about that.
I can say since you were in Florida when Florida had this little wave of hip hop,
Oh yeah.
and you kind of are getting a similar energy, what I say, from Seattle. That's dope, and dope to see that you brought everything full circle because you had a chance to record Kid Trunks. Right?
Yeah. Kids, we did a song with my brother Kid Wade, and that actually is dropping, I think later this week. Yeah,
Dope.
August
That's
like
really
29th or something. Yeah, and that was crazy too, cause Kid Trunks pulled up, and he just starts FaceTiming this guy, and we're like, you know, every rapper FaceTimes in the studio, you know, so it was like kind of ignoring it, and then he
Yeah.
was just like, hey bro, you know, this guy needs some stems, and then, you know, Trunks was kind of confused about what I needed, so he just like handed me this FaceTime, and I'm sitting there at the computer and like not really paying attention to who this guy is, and this guy's like, yeah, you know, like I'll send you the stems, and I look down, and it's Travis Barker. What? Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? Like,
Whoa, that's
Travis
crazy.
yeah,
Barker.
yeah. So, and then like it was all out of random too, you know, like they just pulled through the city to do their tour, and then, you know, Kid Way was supposed to come here, and we were just gonna kick it and just do, you know, hood rat stuff. And yeah, next thing Trunk pulls up, and then we just ended up doing 2 songs. Once was just for Travis Barker, and then the other one was for Blink-182, which was like this crazy, you know, random opportunity. So yeah, everything came full circle on that one.
Was that in the studio?
That was Robert Lang. Yeah,
Robert
no,
Lang?
that was Robert Lang.
Legendary.
Trunk,
man.
we came here first, yeah, but then we just needed to. We moved over to Lang for the more
So
grungy.
You brought Florida with you. That's funny.
Yeah.
It all went.
Yeah, but no, the whole thing about seeing all of that popping off, and then kind of like, you know, it wasn't anywhere near Atlanta and stuff, but I was around there to know that energy, and like had a ton of classmates like just being like, yo, I'm gonna go to Atlanta this weekend, and I'm gonna apply to all these studios and stuff. Like, I really did have this epiphany like 6 months ago when we started just doing a lot of stuff here, like just like looking around. It was like, you know, this could be the next DARP. Like if Seattle really starts popping off, like this will be the
When
next
they
DARP
do.
studios. Yeah, when
it
Seattle
does,
starts
yeah.
popping
When
off.
Seattle pops off.
And it, you know, tap in. If you haven't tapped in yet, tap in.
100%, man.
That's
Yeah,
dope,
well,
man.
we appreciate you coming through. We got
course,
the first
yeah.
engineer, man.
Yeah.
Coming through, dropping some gems. You feel me? It's an
Lot of
honor and a
jewels.
pleasure. You feel me?
Yeah.
a lot
Appreciate
of jewels.
you
I
guys,
know a lot of
always.
people can look at this episode and very insightful. You know,
Because
so.
it's one thing to look at the stage during a show, and it's another thing to understand what goes on behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And all the different mechanisms and people that got to be involved to see what you're seeing and
it's
enjoying.
just as important. You feel
100%.
me?
Yeah.
It's right there.
Can't do it without them. out.
We always appreciate Hip Hop Seattle. You know that. Studio Sage
man,
and Hip Hop
bless.
It's a
Seattle.
family, 100%.
Yeah, 100. So thank you guys.
Man, this has been the 24th episode of the Hip Hop Seattle podcast. We came a long way.
Long way, man.
Your boy
Yeah.
Count Naughty signing out.
It's your boy, Miss I Def Henry 100K.
Special guest.
Cameron Kayser. Thank you.
Know what it is, man. We out.
Good night.